I am John Nesbitt, Customer Factory, also from Million Dollar Practice Builders Show and Magazine and all that stuff. Let me go ahead and get on with the webinar because you guys came here for some great information and I've got it for you. Actually, I was working on these slides up until late last night just to, you want to do a good job on these things. So I've done what I can to make this really a cool thing. So let me go ahead and share this screen here. There we go. All right, so this is what you came for. I mean, if you're on the flight to $100,000 a month practice, you're on the right flight, okay? So this is gonna be maybe about 50 minutes or so of a thing. I'll take questions at the end, actually, in the chat. And let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, so here we go. So I'll give you a mercifully brief introduction if you're not familiar with who I am. My name is John Nesbitt. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I had companies before this, ran an ad agency in the past. I now founded the Customer Factory in 2012, and right now we're up to the level of referring in 1,000 new patients from online marketing to clients. That's 1,000 new patients per week right now. So we're doing really well. We're doing that exclusively with online marketing, and I'm going to show you how we're doing it. By the time we finish this, you have a lot better idea how all that's done. Of course, in doing that, my credentials are we built dozens of $1 million practices, as you can imagine. Lots of people have been able to take that flow of new patients and turn it into a big practice. So if you can deliver, all you need is a whole bunch of people coming in, right? Also, I'm the publisher of the $1 Million Practice Builders Magazine. You may have received that. There's a copy on the right there. You see, that was the first issue that we are very proud of. And really, what I like to think of, this might be grandiose to say about myself, but I think I'm becoming the marketer that $1 Million Practice owners recommend. I get a lot of people who are telling their colleagues telling colleagues is the number one way that we get business here. So that's the best compliment I guess you can get, right? Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about myself. Now let's talk about you. All right. So my assumptions about you are the following. I'm going to assume that you have at least some familiarity with the basics of Facebook advertising. Ads, and people click on the ads and they sign up for an appointment and that sort of thing, right? This is not going to be a low-level 101 level presentation. This is going to assume that you at least have some familiarity. Not that you like run the ads yourself, you're all details and all up in how the systems work, but you have the general idea. I'm also going to assume that you already know that Facebook is the 100-pound gorilla of online marketing. It's not a fad. Love it, hate it. It ain't going away anytime soon, despite rumors to the contrary. It is the most used platform pretty much on earth, maybe outside of Google, and I'm not even sure about that, right? So it's huge, and it is where all the attention is, and that's where you want to be marketing, is where all the attention is. That's where people are every day. Also, I'm going to assume that you've seen it actually work. It's seen pivotal in building some practices to stellar numbers. I'm sure everybody's had that friend. Oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm killing it with Facebook ads. We're doing great with Facebook ads, right? So I assume that you've actually seen it. You kind of don't need any more social proof that Facebook actually works. And I'm also going to assume that you probably tried Facebook ads for new patients and you want to improve the results you've been seeing. This is how you get to these big numbers for $1 million practice, by doing this sort of thing. So I'm going to assume that you may have tried these ads and tried this kind of marketing and not had the results you want, because in the survey I found out actually 100% of the people I surveyed, which wasn't a small survey, 100% actually tried Facebook marketing, but not that many had been wildly successful with it, as you can imagine. Okay, but that's going to change for you guys here. Okay, this is what this whole thing's about. All right, so here's what you're going to learn during this presentation. All right, number one, I'm going to show you how to attract in the qualified prospective patients in your area who are most motivated for care, right? There's a lot of qualifying words in like qualified and motivated, where you get into these things, how you actually control for those particular characteristics in someone. You're also going to learn how we weed out the tire kickers, the money worried, the outright unqualified folks. I sometimes call these the heartbreakers, the one that you can help, but somehow they don't let you help them, or they can't get the help from you, right? I'm going to show you how to really just appeal only to those people who are most likely to complete their care plan and refer others. Too many often you think, well, who can you close? Who can you get in and close? Actually, who cares who you can close? Who can you help, right? Who can you get actually through the care plan? Because that's where the referrals come from. Referrals are awesome. Yeah, marketing is awesome, but referrals are double awesome, right? We all know that, right? And you're also going to learn in this presentation how to get these guys to come in for their appointments, which is often a sticking point especially when it comes to paid marketing. Is how do you get these guys to make it? They don't really know you that well. So they're kind of colder. How do you actually get them in? There are actual ways to get them in. And when you use them, it works. And when you don't use these ways, it doesn't work. So I'm going to show you how all that works. And then, of course, ultimately, I'm going to show you how to use paid advertising to fill your practice and greatly improve the bottom line month after month, year after year. Yes, it is possible to have Facebook marketing work year after year. We've got many clients that we've had for multiple years, and that's how you build a big practice. You don't just have a stunt where it works for 2 weeks or 2 months, but you actually have it work for a long period of time. That's how you build a big practice. Now, I'm going to get you down where Facebook becomes just your reliable buddy, your old friend that you can count on, that brings you in the patients you need to see. After that, it's up to you. You got to deliver, you got to service, you got to be, you have to actually get the goods, and we'll go into all that later on here. But this is the part that most people are missing. That if you hook a good doctor up with good marketing, you usually have a good practice. All right. And now here's why this particular presentation is different, probably from anything you've seen before. Even my earlier presentations on similar topics never quite had all these items in here. All right. So the big one reason is this comes from experience of more than $4 million in paid ads, learning what works and what does not work in a no contract marketing service. And what no contract marketing service means, in my agency, we elected to not have any marketing contracts, which means the client can quit anytime, any day, which means the only way that we stay in business is if everybody's happy all the time, right? Like almost everybody has to be totally thrilled all the time. And that is the standard that we decided to set. And that's what I'm going to teach you comes from us reaching that standard, reaching for that standard of a very high level of success with these and spending a lot of money doing it. This is not just some idea that I ran across on YouTube and now I'm regurgitating back to you. This comes from real life work. This also is different because it uses human nature to naturally select out the qualified and motivated prospects from the unqualified and unmotivated. Those two things are the ones that kill most marketing programs. Is you get too many unqualified folks or too people who are just not motivated for care. They're just not going to buy. They're just not going to take advantage. So you don't get a return on investment there. And you just kind of get all frustrated and upset and throw your hands in the air and go, I can't do this, right? Well, we're going to show you how to use human nature to actually avoid that from here on out, right? And this is what is working right now in more than 100 areas nationwide. And it doesn't matter if you're city, urban, suburban, rural, it doesn't matter where you are. If there are people and they have bodies, then this will work for you and them because they probably hurting. They probably need you, right? So if there's population around you who needs you, and they do, and they're on Facebook, if they're anywhere around, they're on Facebook. This is what's working right now in the field practically. This is not theory. This is not just some idea, right? All right, good. And so the key part of it is it all works with Facebook strengths, right? I don't do hacks. I don't do weird tricks, little gray area stuff. Oh, do this and Facebook will get tricked into thinking, yeah, don't do that. Facebook's your partner. If you're going to do marketing on Facebook and you want the big gorilla to send you patients now and forever, you got to work with the gorilla. The gorilla likes bananas, so feed them bananas. Don't feed them, cheese or whatever. I don't know what gorillas don't like, but don't feed them the wrong thing, right? And don't try to fool the gorilla. Don't try to mess with him. Don't tweak him, right? Work with him and you won't get your account suspended. If you've ever had your account suspended, it was either an error, which happens a lot, or you did something that you didn't even know you broke the rules and they nuked your account, right? We have hundreds of accounts that we work with. At any given time, we have 0 suspended accounts, right? We don't get accounts suspended because we know what the gorilla likes. All right. So this is why this particular presentation is important to you now, because you must have a consistent source of qualified new patients you can count on in order to grow a thriving practice. I think that's kind of self-evident, but I just put it down on the slide because whatever. But referrals are just not enough, right? You've got to have some way to turn the faucet on and off, or you're just not going to be able to grow at will. Facebook is frankly where 85% of your next 1,000 new patients can be reached. So you figure you're going to be in business for a while. You've got 1,000 next new patients. 85% of them are on Facebook today. How amazing is that thought, right? So, wow. So it just tells you all you got to do is find who they are and reach them, and boom, they're coming in to see you, right? And then most practices fail at Facebook marketing and lose money. That was the research I did before, right? While just a few thrive and profit massively from it. You need to know why some guys win and some guys lose so you can be one of the winners, right? That's the idea. I'm covering that today. The points I covered today, the strategies I covered today are what I see and what we do for practices that make them profit massively from online marketing and Facebook. And you will no longer be a victim of Facebook marketing. You will be able to handle it and control it and make it do your bidding. How cool is that? All right. And then, of course, we know this. The environment is louder and more competitive than ever. You have to rise above the noise. So what you'll be doing with your marketing here, I'm going to show you how your ads will stand out from others, how you will rise above the noise, how you'll become known. If you do enough of this, you become known as the local health authority. That's important because people are inundated with all kinds of good solutions, bad solutions, different ideas. It's never been louder than ever to be a consumer, as you can know. So I'm going to show you how we get around all that. Okay. Now I have a couple moments of frankness here. Is this for you? Here's some tough love statements. Okay. If you have a good practice and want to scale it up by increasing the flow of new patients, great. I'll be honest. If you have a good practice and want to make it great, this is the kind of thing you want to have working for you. You plug in the Facebook marketing and the online advertising to that, and boom, it starts to work, right? If you can consistently help patients realize significant positive outcomes, if you can deliver the goods. If you can't deliver the goods, don't bother with this marketing. It'll just get you in trouble, okay? If you have a stable support staff who are trained or can be trained to handle increased flow of new appointment inquiries, if you're a one-man show, answering your own phones and stuff, this is not for you. I'm just straight up. Even if it's just a two-person show, it's going to be really hard because you've got to deliver service at volume. And if you otherwise you'll have too many people who get bad service, you'll develop a bad reputation. So make sure you've got a team there, or a team that can be trained. They can be willing to be trained. Sometimes you have team members who don't want to be trained. They just like doing what they're doing. They like the status quo of 2 new patients a week or something. You need to have a team that's ready to go along with you. And the last thing on here, if you know good marketing is an investment, not an expense. Everybody has wasted money on marketing. Everybody in business has blown money on marketing that failed. And everybody has usually used marketing somewhere that was successful. All you have to do is realize that when you make an investment, not every investment pays off, but your only other choice is not to make any investments, right? And that dies. So you have to realize that you have to actually be willing to spend a little money in order to make money back. Don't be foolish. Don't be dumb. But, a smart investment's a smart investment, whether it's in the stock market or in advertising. I happen to think that marketing advertising is the best investment because I could spend $100 today and get a new $5,000 patient in tomorrow. That's a 50x return, or is a a huge return on my money instantly, right? So there you go. That's why I think. But then again, I haven't exactly bought a lot of Bitcoin either. So, all right. So let me keep it real. Also, just a full disclosure stuff here. This won't fix a struggling practice. If you've got other internal issues not related to marketing, more new patients can make a bad practice worse. Like I say, a lot of guys who can't deliver or have a terrible team or whatever think all they need is new patients, and this is going to fix everything for them. And no, if you got a struggling practice, it's probably struggling not because of your new patient flow, but because of something else, and you need to get that handled first before you turn on the faucet. Otherwise, the water is going to leak all over the place, right? There is no magic ad or trick. You've got to be committed to doing the work. There are no shortcuts to success. Maybe once upon a time you heard some trick on Facebook, do this or do that. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, those always come and go. You can't build a business on those, right? So there really is no magic ad or trick. You've got to actually do the work and get it done right. But I'm going to show you how to do the work and how to skip a lot of the work here. I've done a lot of the work for you in this presentation, so you can kind of take that. It does take money to make money. Marketing is investment, not expense, like I just said on the last slide there. And it takes discipline to develop a marketing strategy that is worthwhile. And by discipline, I mean, you don't just say, all right, I threw $500 at the Facebook ads and hope for the best, right? No, you got to run the ads. What did you run? Who did you target? Make notes of that. Good. See how it did. Run another set of ads and stuff. See how it did. Compare the two. Figure out what won. Do the thing. It takes a disciplined kind of a continuous approach to make a marketing strategy. Otherwise, you're just flailing around trying stuff, which is better than not doing anything. But really having a nice discipline strategy actually is what you need to make a long-term plan. Okay. All right. So now here's the toughest slide. This is my confessional slide. When it came to the Facebook ad marketing and practice building with online marketing, I really, really screwed all this up at first. I made a total mess of it. Matter of fact, I'm calling it I call it the money fire hose situation, right? Where money was going out like a fire hose and wasn't going back in. It was just going into a fire, right? My mistake was I ran ads from the hip. I just copied other ads I'd seen. I said, okay, that looks like great. That should work. I'm an old time marketer. I'm a smart guy. I know my people. I know patients. I can do this. No problem, right? Yeah, just running from the hip and just copying other guys wasn't great. I did weak research, which this is called guessing, right? Like research is when you actually go out and find out. You research, you search. You have to do some searching. You have to actually go and turn over some rocks and ask some people questions and take surveys and do notations, that kind of thing. When you're not doing that, you're just guessing out of your own mind, which sometimes you have the right answer and sometimes you don't, right? I had not used a disciplined approach. As I told you, I was just running ads and hoping for the best. Was spray and pray, right? Just go for it. And then I didn't have any procedures that forced improvement. And really, as I mentioned, getting feedback from your marketing, see what works and what's not works, and learning those lessons and not having to learn them over and over and knowing why something worked versus something else worked. tells you a lot. And actually, it's these procedures here that I did later on develop that I'm going to go over with you here, right? Because that's what it comes from. So the results of all this were terrible, right? I mean, I attracted the worst kinds of prospective new patients. I had people coming in, people completely unqualified, people coming in just for the free deal, the cheap deal, whatever, terrible stuff like that. I wasted thousands of other people's money, which it's one thing to waste your own money. It's a special level of hell when you know you're wasting someone else's money. You just, die a little inside. And they call and they're mad. And you're like, yeah, you should be mad. I'm mad too, but you're madder because it was your money. Yeah, that's a terrible thing. I disappointed my clients, and I really threatened my agency was very new, and it basically threatened to kill us. It was almost the end for us because you're not getting results. You're wasting people's money. You don't, and you have no contract, like I mentioned before. Yeah, you're written pretty toast, right? And of course, the worst thing is I proved that Facebook ads don't work. All leads are bad. All the things you hear about Facebook that people complain about, I proved all those things were true, right? Because I got these crap results. All right, so what's the fix? So, of course, I'm still here now. We're doing well, so I must have fixed it. Thank goodness I did. The fix was a pretty straight up sentence here. I had to be doing the work. Doing the work is what fixed it, right? Researching, testing, disciplined approach, procedures, that sort of thing. So here's the homework I did. I researched deeply into the motivation of ideal new patients, not just all new patients, the ideal new patients. I'll cover that in a second. I compared who accepted care plus who later referred, right? So a perfect patient isn't just someone who shows up and gives you money. That's nice. But it's someone actually, they accept the care, they go through the care, and they later on refer. That to me is the ideal perfect patient. Now, part of that is manufactured by the marketing, and a lot of that is manufactured by the service you give. I mean, obviously, I think the lion's share is delivered by the service that you bring in. But we're going to talk about later on the patient's motivation makes a huge difference in all of this on whether you can even get them to go through their entire care plan and become that shining, awesome example at the end. All right. As a result of this homework, I discovered what ads got them excited for care. Like what actually gets people to click? What gets them to go, ooh, that's for me, right? Like what does that? Just what ads get them, right? And then I looked at the tactics that top practices are using to get 80 and 90% of their advertising generated new patient leads, right? Like how are they getting these guys? And actually, how are they getting them to arrive in their office, right? I actually did the research, interviewed people, and found out what was going on, right? And then I built that into a results-based approach to marketing. And that has been what I built the agency on, and that is what I'm covering. The core of that I'm covering here in this seminar. Okay, so today, as a result of all the stuff we've done, we've been stable for 8 years running this stuff. Right, the details change, but the basics remain the same. So far, we've been impervious to Facebook tracking changes. You've heard of this Apple thing. Oh, Apple iOS 14 is coming to kill the entire Facebook. Yeah, no, not a problem. Market changes. Oh, COVID came. Doing fine. Clients are doing fine. All the predictions of doom you see in the media, believe it or not, I know this is going to come to a surprise this entire crowd here, but believe it or not, occasionally the media overhypes something and makes it sound like it's worse than it is, right? When it comes to Facebook and Facebook marketing and all that stuff, that's the case. It's just a marketing platform, folks. It's just a place people go and look at dog and kitty pictures. Yeah, it's got its use for good and evil. It gets used like any other platform does, right? But it's not going away anytime soon. And the entire process I have come up with works because it's based on human nature and not tricks or hacks, as I've covered. No tricks, no hacks, just what works. And I'm telling you what works. What I'm going to show you in this that works on Facebook actually works in almost every marketing platform you could use. So if something came along tomorrow that you want to try it out, do the same things. Okay. All right. So this does build practices. As I mentioned, right now we're joining more than 1,000 new patients. The average cost per appointment request is under $35 in ad spend with what I'm going to show you. $35 each. So I don't know how big you want to build your practice, but if you're paying $35 to get someone to set an appointment with you, you probably do pretty well, right? I've got also, this brings in good people. What I'm going to show you brings in good people. We have practices closing $5,000 cash packages off of what I'm going to show you here. And then it's consistent, reliable process has powered several dozen practices to above the $84,000 a month production level, which we all know that magic number. It's 83 and some change. That makes $1 million practice. I'm all about building $1 million practices. As you can see, the banner behind me is $1 million practice builders. That's what we do, right? So obviously you've got this. If you can get a $5,000 patient for $35, you're doing awesome. Now, is it always like that? Of course not. But let's talk about it, okay? So here is how it's done. We're going to quit talking about the stuff. We're going to start doing the stuff now, okay? All right, so first, this is my, first I need to apologize for the color of this Venn diagram. I have this one terrible colored slide here, but it's got such good information, I just got to show it to you. This is kind of some theory. This is not the only theory I'm going to show you. The rest is practical. This is attracting ideal new patients. Your ideal new patient is that little center black square there. And it's at the corner of financially qualified, motivated for care, and in your service zone, right? If you get somebody who's got all three of those things right there, you've got an ideal patient who will do care and follow all the way through. You can see the other things be wrong. You got a tire kickers are the guys who are qualified but not, motivated and so forth. But this is just sort of like, this is where the underlying thinking comes from. It's just sort of something I came up with one day. Unfortunately, the only online Venn diagram or a diagram I can find had only these as colors. So I'm going to get this off your screen so it doesn't hurt anybody. But there we go. Okay, that's the theory. All right, now strategy number one. Okay, and this is just a straightforward one. Pinpoint geotargeting. A lot of guys make this mistake. A lot of agencies make huge mistakes on this one. You want to avoid the bubbles. Okay, what you see on your screen there, that's the Facebook targeting screen. Oh, choose your geo-target. And people say, oh, good. There's my practice right in the middle, and I'll put a radius of 25 miles around. That sounds perfect, right? Okay. Well, right there, you see that particular one covers the entire Atlanta metro area. And you might think, great, the more the merrier. No, not actually that. Actually, you're wasting a tremendous amount, because if anybody who knows Atlanta, or if you know your city, no one's going to drive from one side of the city to the other one. Realistically, I can't say no one. Everybody's always have those guys, that one guy who comes from far away, but it's not the way they want to advertise. One geo-targeting area can destroy a campaign. So, for example, if your geo-targeting hits 30% of the wrong people, then 30% of your money is instantly wasted. Like that, right? Instantly wasted. And these little bubbles are just terrible, because they're so easy to make them huge, right? So you want to avoid this radius-only approach. You can lose little radiuses, but you want to keep them really tiny and small. Bubbles don't account for real life traffic, like rivers and traffic patterns. And everybody has that part of your city where, oh yeah, it's only 2 miles away from here, but it's going to take you 30 minutes to get there, right? It's like everybody has that. So traffic patterns are what determines where people think they can get to come in for care. If they see your ad and they see, oh, you're just way over there, well, I'm not going to even bother, right? They don't even bother coming in or following your ad. You can lose track of them. Or if you do magically somehow get them in, these are the guys who quit care after a while, because they were excited at first and they got out of pain, and now now it's kind of too far to go for care. So they just stopped showing up after a while, because it was really too far in the first place. If you'd gotten someone who was just down the street instead, that person would finish their care plan and you would have the success that you're looking for, right? This is a massive point of waste. This is kind of a boring part. Like, we can talk about ad copy and stuff like that later, and whiz bang cool stuff. But this is like that, one of those basic things that you get this wrong, you can do everything else right and still struggle and not know why, right? So that's why I covered it first as the first strategy. So now, all right, so don't do the bubble thing, because many people just start with Facebook does the default bubble by default, and you don't want that. All right, I'm going to cover this first thing. Pareto's principle. We've heard the 80-20 rule. Everybody's heard the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of productivity comes from 20% of the resources. All right. Would you be surprised to find out that also applies to geographic areas as well? Applies to almost everything else I've run across, seems to work. So I do what something calls Pareto's targeting, right? And you target not by bubbles, but by zip codes. You see, that's a zip code map right there, right? You want to be data-driven. You basically want to take the data and let the data do the work for you. Don't guess like, oh, she's a 10-mile bubble good or a 25-mile bubble. No. Or maybe this zip code's good, that zip code's good. No, use your data. Your database has it. We tell you how to do it. First, you pull your last 100 new patients. Take the last 100 people who accepted care, right? Just pull them right out of your database, all right? And what you want to do is pull their zip codes and sort them by zip code, and your new targeting for your Facebook ads should only be where 80% of your current patients live. And when you do this, you'll be amazed that they live in places you don't quite realize. The data will guide you completely. If you do it by this method here, you will never make a geo mistake. You will not be wasting your money. If you say 80%, so in this particular graphic there, that is where 80% of that client's patients come from. Has he had someone come from Columbus, which is to his left? Of course he has, right? Has he had someone fly in from California that one time? Maybe, but that's not where you want to advertise, man. This is an expensive thing if you do it wrong. So target tight. Later on, once you're doing great, you got $1 million practice and you're lighting your cigars with $100 bills, you can experiment with wider areas. But I tell you this, in my own company, if I catch someone violating this rule, I slap them down, because that is not a good spend of money. It is a quick way to waste money. And when I look at mistakes that have been made, when mistakes get made on geo-targeting, that's where you lose whole campaigns, and you don't know why, because everything else is beautiful except this. So I cover this first. It's important. So get your Pareto's targeting in, zip codes only to the 80%, 80-20 rule, okay? Okay, strategy 2, target only qualified prospects. Sounds obvious, right? So why do people target the wrong people, right? Why do you get the wrong people coming in, right? So that starts with this question. What is your ideal patient profile? What do they look like? And here's how you can figure that out. Because you got your guys, everything. You got your ideal patient, right? You think of a couple of ideal patients who come in. Oh, there's that person and that person and that person. Great. So you want to target them by the traits they share with each other. So you can look at their demographics, like, okay, they tend to be this age. And for this crowd, for this group here of practices, tends to be probably 45 or 55 and up. Tends to be, okay, male, female, education level. You can look at, like, do these all have something in common, right? You can look at their shopping. Man, I love Whole Food shoppers. You know why? Because they spend a little extra money to be healthier. Boy, that sounds like a great patient type, isn't it? That's a great patient type. People at upscale clothing stores, the jewelry stores, people who shop those kind of places, they have a little extra money. They're willing to spend a little more to get a little more. So those are your kind of people, right? Activities to look at. I mean, maybe you've got we had this one time. We had people who in this particular area for a client, they had a lake and a lot of boating. And one of the things to get when you're marketing to men in that area, you let them know they get back out on the boat again. Because I guess when you're out on the boat for a while and it's rocking back and forth, your knees really hurt. So we were marketing men for their knee pain. We talked about getting back out on the boat, and boom, man, that was the thing for that town. Everybody wants to go back on the boat, back on the lake. So, but you look at what your guys have, hobbies, pets, donations, charity, all these things here. What's really great, some areas have awesome employers. Like you might have a local plant, a place that's got just incredible insurance or great benefits or something like that, or a military base nearby or government institution or something like that, someplace that's got a really great source. You can often target these people. But if you notice that they're all there, you go, okay. And then you also, there's interests that I love, the fitness interest, wellness, chiropractic, nutrition. You realize there are people actually out there who listed that I like chiropractic, I like nutrition, I like fitness. And Facebook can tell who these guys are by what they're spending their time doing and knows, is that even real? Are they actually into that, right? And that's what you want to know. So these are the traits you look at your best patients and figure out, kind of circle, what do they all have in common, right? And be kind of broad about it, but you know what they have in common, right? And then you follow this 3-step formula. Okay, here's the 3-step formula for perfect targeting. Step 1, determine the traits your best qualified patients share, right? They live here, they do this, they do that, they go eat at Whole Foods, whatever, right? Once you've got that, you target those traits on Facebook. Facebook lets you, all the things I just showed you, you can target by, right? So you get down, do the work, put in the targeting selections, and let Facebook do its thing, because Facebook will find them for you, right? And then step 3, voila, the same types of people show up. So figure out what you want to target for your best guys. You target just those guys on Facebook with your ads, and those are the guys who show up. It's about the simplest thing, but it takes discipline not to go, well, let's also try a few of these and a few of those. No. Keep it strict. Keep discipline to this formula. It'll work. Okay? So that's how you target those guys. So strategy 3. So we got the right area. Strategy 3, the right people. Now let's figure out how you put an ad in front of these people to get them to click. You can run an ad and be able to just kind of yawn and ignore it, right? You don't want that. So let's talk about how you do this. So first, check this out. There you go. Isn't that kind of funny? This is actually called an eye trail. And it basically gives you an idea of what's most important in an ad, right? So you'll read this first, and you'll read this, and then this one, and then you read this last. You have to know something about this. This is basically how a Facebook ad is structured physically. We don't have to do too much work with this in this presentation, because Facebook takes care of that for you. You don't have to worry about the design. They actually already made a pretty perfect design, because advertising is their business, right? Okay, so key thing is in your ads, focus on one patient need. Don't write an ad that says, hey, we do knee pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, IBS, neuropathy. We do everything, right? You list that out. You're basically just making a menu. You're kind of like, that's not an ad, that's a menu, right? And you don't want to go out there shotgun style, because people reading the ad, very rarely is someone going to have all those afflictions. Oh my God, I'm looking for the all-in-one doctor, right? Most times they have one of those. So someone with sciatica sees your ad, they're not going to read down to line 3 to see the word sciatica. But also keep this in mind. They see that and they say, well, it does everything else. He's not really much of a specialist in sciatica. He does all these other things, probably not that great at it, perhaps, right? So don't run what I call these shotgun ads, right? One complaint per campaign. So knee pain, sciatica, shoulder pain, neuropathy, whatever the patient complaint is, their owie point, their ooch point, the part they're like most worried about, that's what you talk about. Just that one, you get that type of case in. It is kind of cool too, because you can attract just the types of cases you want, right? So it's not Hello. 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 Good grief. What the heck? All right. I'm back now. Okay, good. Am I back? Thank you. I don't know. Maybe I hit the wrong button. I almost caught my millennial in here. Okay. Thank you. So, do I need to go back to the last part there? The last slide make sense? Someone tell me in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are getting this. Last part. Here, I can dial this back. Whoops. Okay, well, okay, good. Now we'll do this. Okay, so I was talking about shotgun ads. So the definition of that is when you run everything you have in one ad. We do knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, neuropathy. We treat everything. Please come in and see us, right? It's a little desperate as an ad. It's called a shotgun ad. And the reason it doesn't work is two. One, people don't necessarily see all the way down on line 3 that you do sciatica or whatever their problem is. They're not going to read it from their problem. They don't care about their problem. They don't really care about everything you deliver. They don't need a menu of your services, right? They just need to see, and when they see that you do 1,200 different things, they also sometimes assume that you're not that great at the thing. So sciatica's on line 3, and they go, well, he does all this and all this other stuff. Well, maybe line 3, maybe sciatica is not their thing, right? So the hard rule is 1 complaint per campaign, right? Don't mix up your ads by putting all these other ones in there. 1 ad for knee pain, a different set of ads for sciatica, different ads for shoulder pain. And one of the great things about that is you can control the type of case you get in. So if you want to see more knee pain or you got a new neuropathy treatment or something, you just run the neuropathy ads, right? So don't cram it all into one ad. Don't put everybody on the bus because that bus won't get anywhere. Just say, okay, 1 type of complaint per ad. All right. So, all right. So if I didn't leave anybody, if there's a question, feel free to leave it. I usually wait for questions towards the end, but because we have some audio issues, I will wait, and if you put a question in the comment, I'll answer for you. Okay. So here's how you write ads. Okay, that was how you didn't write ads. So actually, you didn't even have to know that part. Let me tell you how to write the ads. This is what you really need to know. Okay, you have to write ads that speak their thoughts. So don't talk about you or your treatments. Right? Don't. Hey, our practice has been around since 2000. No, we do this and we do that. If you're using we and us and I too much in your ads, that's a clue that you're not writing it from the right point of view. You've got to write it for the reader. You've got to write it for the reader's thoughts and their experiences, right? So don't I even say, don't even talk about the treatments. There's a couple exceptions to that, like laser treatment you can talk about because people think lasers are sexy, but don't say, oh, we have the new 9X5000 decompression machine that does deep. No, you're talking about you again, and you're talking about treatments, and you're not there yet. You're not even dating yet. Quit going for the marriage, okay? You want to talk about them, their pain, and their experiences. So in the ad, you want to say, do you have knee pain? We can't really say the word you, but say experiencing knee pain, difficult to walk upstairs, stiffness when standing, whoa, yeah. That's their pain. That's their experience. That's what they're seeing. You want to reflect that right back at them in the ad. That way it connects with them. Don't jump to the next step where you start telling them how to handle it. You want to first say, hey, I get you, man. I get you, right? You want to use the exact words they use. So if they say, when you see people in your practice and they're describing their complaint and they say, oh, I've got the tingling, itching, and burning in my foot. Okay. So you say, have tingling, itching, burning in your foot, right? Use the words they use. Do not use the word subluxation. Say, my back hurts, right? Don't slip disc. They don't know slip disc from nothing. They'll say, oh, but my back, I threw my back out. That's what people sometimes say, right? Use the words they use and you'll communicate with them. The more you obey by that, the more connection your ads will make because you're speaking to their inner thoughts, right? And then, of course, when you're running your ads, you think you're brilliant. You write a bunch of brilliant ads. You want to test. What's really cool is Facebook lets you test dozens of ads at once. Do that. Don't be lazy. Write 3 or 4 headlines for that knee pain ad. Write 6 different headlines for the knee pain ad. Write 5 or 6 types of copy. Choose 3 or 4 different pictures. Push them all together. Give them to Facebook. Facebook will run them all simultaneously for you and tell you which ad is the best. It just takes doing that work of putting that set of ads together. You just come with different ideas, and Facebook will test it for you. That's one of the brilliances of their system is they can test an almost unlimited number of ads. We do lots, right? We test thousands of ads per week because every variation of every ad we run to see, could this work better? Well, let's test it, right? It takes almost nothing for Facebook to test it, and then you'll know before you spend a pile of dough on that ad is the one that works, right? I see marketing companies that run like 2 or 3, or people running marketing for their own practice, running 1 or 2 of ads at a time. Like, no, try 25, right? And when you got them worked out, just run the good ones, right? So there's a testing phase. And by the way, I'm going to give you all a shortcut. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to tell you how to get a bunch of ads that are working right now. We've got some downloadables, which actually contain the ads that we're using, the ones that beat all the tests, right? Doesn't mean it for sure work for you, but it's a good place to start. Let me show you the one that's already spent a few $1,000s and shown this ad works for knee pain, for example. You'll get that. So at the end, hang on to the end. I'll reward you with that for your presence there. Okay, strategy 4, and by the way, there's only 5 of these strategies. Strategy 4 is craft the right offer. So you got the right targeted person. You're going after the right qualified person. You got an ad that gets them to click. Now you have to make them an offer, right? All right, here's a key thing. What you catch depends on the bait offer that you use. So if you want to depends on what kind of patient you want to catch. You have to use a different kind of bait. Here's what I mean. And I'm not talking about super discount bargain mega offers like that. I hate those. You have 2 types of patients that respond to advertising: money motivated and health motivated. Okay, let's talk about the money motivated guys, right? Money motivated guys, they when you use fake countdown clocks and we have a limited number of vouchers and hurry, emoji. Oh my God, get this before it's gone. We're almost out of seats. Oh, you're gonna miss out, right? You're trying to push that FOMO button, the fear of missing out button. Those guys are motivated by not missing out on the deal, on the sale, right? They love the super cheap discounts. Oh, you'll miss the discount. Oh my God, yeah. Give me that 10 visits for $5 thing. Yeah, whatever, right? That's just terrible. Okay. So what you get when you get these guys is you get guys with no loyalty. They always want discounts. They're the tire kickers. They're the Groupon type guys. You guys ran Groupon back in the day. You know what I'm talking about, right? They're flighty and they're driven by not wanting to miss out, not by personal need. Yeah, they need you, but they're more into that little thing in the sale. They're a consumer type and they're money motivated. They're deal motivated, right? And what you get is they're hard to get them in because after they've bought the deal, that little adrenaline rush goes away. Oh, they got the special. Okay, now I got to go actually arrive. I don't know. And then that's why some of those Groupon guys never came in back in the day. You're wondering why I had so many Groupons. You sell so many Groupons, and half the people never showed up. Well, they got the deal. It wasn't a big enough deal for them, right? It wasn't a big enough concern for them. Once you do get them arrived, they're harder to close, and they're really hard to get complete care because they move on to the next thing that wasn't really deep in them, right? And also these guys, just to make it worse, they rarely refer because they're deal buyers. So they might refer a super deal to other deal guys, but they don't talk about how great your care was. They don't talk about how you changed their life, right? Okay. Health and wellness motivated. These are the good guys. Okay. You talk to these guys about regaining ability, activity, family time, freedom, and health. Like, hey, would you like to be able to play with your grandkids again like you used to? You want to get back out on the boat. You want to get back your freedom, your mobility, whatever it is you've lost, get that back. Your life will improve, right? These guys tend to see their health more as priceless and a personal value. Now, maybe priceless doesn't mean they'll pay anything in it. They're like just throwing money at you, but it does mean they do place their health as a high personal attribute. And you can get them to see that it's worth, a deal's a deal, but hey, what would you pay to be able to walk again? Quite a bit, right? Okay. And these people, when they come in, they're much more eagerly to be educated by you. They want to know, they're interested, they accept your care more easily, and they complete their care plans because their motivation is a long-term thing. It's really great. And they also, as a super bonus, they refer much more freely. These guys, when they've received a transformative moment in their life, they will tell the world, right? Or they're more likely to tell the world because they've experienced this personal, emotional thing, right? And that's the kind of patient you can deal with. I mean, obviously, who do you want in there, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you, when you're creating your offers, and we can do a whole show on offers right here, but the offers are this. When you make your offer and advertising about the money, you attract money-motivated people. And when you make it about quality of life, health and wellness, you attract people who are there for the right reason. So when you're making your offer, if you're going bargain discount, you're attracting money-motivated people. When you're making your offer more about achieving wellness and ability and regaining things, you're going to get the right kind of folks in there. Okay. So write that down. Take a picture of the screen, take a screenshot. This is a pretty key thing right here. So many folks get this wrong because they think they're advertising, used cars or something. It's not. You've got healthcare. It is so awesomely easy to market to people because their life is the thing they literally care the most about. Okay. So let's not lose track of that. Okay. Moving to strategy 5. Okay. So you got all these guys, they made appointments. They click on your ad. They love your offer. They're the right kind of guys. How do you get them to show up? This is where a lot of guys die too. Like, hey, I had a bunch of leads and nobody showed up, or it was really hard to get a hold of them, or right? Yeah, you know what? In today's day and age, it's harder to get a hold of people than ever, right? It used to be the phone rang at my house and we'd fall over the couches and chairs and stuff, rushing to answer the phone, right? Yeah, not now. That's not the way it is now. And if you're acting that way, if you're making phone calls out, by the way, like people answer the phone like that, you're 10 years, 20 years behind, right? So first, let's talk about how do you get people on the phone. This is the number one place it breaks down. I can't get someone to answer the phone. The guy submitted a lead 10 minutes ago, and I called right away, and he didn't answer. Damn it. What's going on? Okay. Well, people don't pick up unfamiliar numbers. I don't. Not unless I'm feeling kind of like, hey, feeling adventurous. Oh, this unknown number from someplace else is calling me. Voicemail, right? If I have someone I knew, they would text me. If it's someone I knew, they'd be in my phone. I don't know what this is. Sometimes people submit online. They say they want an appointment with you, and then 2 minutes later you call them, and they don't connect the fact that they just asked for an appointment with the fact they're getting a phone call from an unusual place. So they don't pick up the unfamiliar number. So you can call day after day, hour after hour, and get nobody to answer and think, oh, these leads are bad. It's just terrible. They're not even real people. What's going on? They're all fake. I don't know. No. Okay, so how do you fix this? You do there's two things you can do. One's called a good tactic is called the double tap. You call, and then you hang up. You don't leave a voicemail, and you call again, right? Now, many people have that as their signal that, hey, I'm stuck by the side of the road. Hey, pick up the phone, idiot, right? That, like everybody kind of has that little secret, double call, right? So a lot of people pick up the second time you call 1 minute later, okay? That's a good tactic. We actually came up with a better one. I love this one a lot better because it's very obvious and it works, and you're going to agree right away that it's probably better. It's you send them a text first, and then you call them right after. Hey, George, this is so-and-so from Dr. So-and-so's office. I'm calling you in 2 minutes about that appointment. You get your knee pain handled. Oh, call a moment later, they answer, right? Or at least they text back or something, right? You definitely get a hold of them. So that gets the first major barrier right there. I'll tell you, just that right there would probably lift most practices who are using paid ads by 10 or 20% if they weren't doing it, maybe 50%, right? Quite a bit, okay? Now, once you got on the phone, you want to set sticky appointments. I call them sticky appointments. Appointments where they tend to stick. They're going to show up, right? How do you do that? Well, here's what you do. First, you have to put phone handling is vital. You have to realize this is a key skill. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and almost all new patients talk to a live human via phone before coming in. This is the connection between the outside world and your practice is the phone handling of the front desk person. A lot of folks don't do leads. We have to call them back. They'll just call you immediately. They'll just make sure you pick your phone. They'll see your ads, everything, and they'll just pick the phone up and call you. About a third of people will do that, right? So 1/3 of people are going to experience your phone handling, and if your phone handling ain't great, then they're not going to have a good experience. They can think maybe they won't show up. A great tool to use is to use scripts. You can allow some variance in the scripts, but scripts are great because you at least have a pre-thought how the conversation should go and how to answer questions. And then you must leave the person with a feeling that that's a friendly, professional, and safe place they're going. Those 3 words, by the way, came out of the research. Why do you keep an appointment or not? Well, it didn't seem friendly. It wasn't very professional. I'm not sure it's safe. Safe was only the recent COVID thing. I can't believe that came up in the research. But anyway, it did. So you want to make a friendly, professional, and safe impression on the phone. And if you don't do that, you're repelling your new patients, right? And you must get the patient to value the appointment and be excited to meet the doctor. They must realize that this appointment was just not some, I had 25 open appointments this week. Which one do you want, right? It's going to be, I got an appointment. You want to make it like they wouldn't scalp that ticket, right? They want that ticket. And they have to be excited to meet the doctor. Why would, you kind of have the doctor built up a little bit. All right. So a way to perfect your scheduling. So you got those things in place. Top practices value scheduling skill as a key financial leverage point. It's about $1,000 to 1. So you spend $1 on scheduling training and perfecting training, it's worth $1,000 over a year's time, right? That's a general guess. Your mileage may vary, but I'm telling you, you spend $100 fixing your scheduling, you probably made $10,000 more this year because that scheduling person's going to be better off, right? They review recorded calls and schedulers, and you compare them to the written set of goals and criteria you have for your ideal calls. So recorded calls are a key tool. If you don't have recorded calls, then you don't have a key tool to really know. You don't actually know how your phones are being answered. You might listen behind your scheduler and think that they're perfect like that when you're not standing there. But I'm just telling you, recorded calls is how you actually know. And of course, secret shopper calls are great. Have a friend call in and pretend to be a patient and see how they're treated. Have them ask a few key questions, a couple hard questions, see if they get the right answers. Right? That's an easy one, right? And then you want to actually, in my opinion, you should bonus your schedules for their performance, like how many people arrive. And for actually taking the phone on the weekends and scheduling people live over the weekends, that will make a lot more out of your marketing. All right. So use those tools to perfect your scheduling. All right. So let's review what we got so far. We got strategy 1, geotargeting. Strategy 2, target only the qualified prospects. So you're getting the right guys with seeing your ads. When they see those ads, they're going to click on them. And when they click on them, they see an offer that attracts the people who are motivated for health. And when they've got an appointment set with you, you actually get them on the phone and you get them to show up. This simplicity right here, there are complex details that you could go into this and additional areas and things. But this right here, you get these 5 points right, you can build a monster practice. It's all you have to build it, right? Just get those people flowing in. And of course, make sure you're delivering and doing that stuff and you'll be fine. So let's talk about you, right? So here, you've been on this call with me for about 50 minutes now. You've gotten through my audio issues. Thank you very much. I appreciate you tolerated that. And most importantly, I think you've learned that you've got to have a procedure and process in place that brings you qualified and motivated new patients in order to build your dream practice. I think everybody would agree with that, right? So let me give you an option. Now, while I'm giving you all the do-it-yourself stuff, I'm going to tell you about another option, right? That's what my company does. It's the New Patients Delivered program, right? My company's called the Customer Factory. Here's the advantages we have over anything else you're going to run across. You're going to see everything that you've seen from this presentation put in place, right, to a professional level. You're going to see that marketing is done. We do the marketing here. I've got 545 written pages that covering all these core strategies that make successful campaigns. I was trying to count the number of strategies we actually have, but it's too many. But it's 545 written pages of procedures on how to do Facebook marketing right. Gee, John, why don't you print it as a book? I wouldn't dare. I'd lose my advantage in life, right? This is very valuable stuff. It's cost $4 million to develop that little book we have, and we keep it under lock and key, except when we're training people on it. And then your ads and campaigns are conducted, adjusted, and reviewed every day by my highly trained staff, every weekday, right? Staff is trained in that, and they look at the campaigns every day. They adjust them every day. They review them every day, and every time we learn something new, they apply it every day to what we've learned, to what's going on there, right? To the new things that come on Facebook, right? All right. So the goal is to get you your ideal patients, right? I mean, we want these ideal patients, the guys from the middle of that Venn diagram earlier. We want to get those guys in. Okay, good. So that's what it does. It creates a consistent flow of those qualified new patients who are health motivated. Everything I just told you, you get, right? It's turnkey version. And yes, it does work for the cases you want. Whatever the people out there complain of, you can do it. So it's neuropathy, knee, back, sciatica laser, decompression, regenerative medicine, stem cell, IBS, inflammation, the list goes on. Anything that you handle that people suffer from and they know they're suffering from it, they will answer an ad for. And if you answer the ad, we can pull them all the way through this whole process and plop them down right in front of you for care. How cool is that? Okay. And the way I've set this entire process up is to be aligned to your goals. Remember, my company, we're month-to-month service agreements. So you get maximum effort every day from us. We perform, or we know we get fired, and we don't like getting fired. So we perform. We do everything we possibly can, right? We don't use those long-term contracts, because I believe this to be true. Long-term contracts are only for those agencies who can't keep their clients with service and results. We keep many, many, many clients for years, many, right? We have the longest transactional lifespan of any agency I know, because we live on the knife's edge, right? We grew up on the knife's edge, knowing that people could quit anytime. So we hustle, and that's what you get from us, right? Service and communication I found is super important. That's why I say we check in with you if you're a client almost daily. Literally, you'll hear from us so often you might tell us to stop. That's completely opposite of what other marketing companies do. I hire enough staff that I can do that. We're not stretched thin. We have people who are set, and they know your campaign. They know who you are. They know your office. They know your area, and they check in with you every day, every other day, whatever, to see how it's going, right? You don't have to manage us. You don't have to worry if we're on the case. We're on the case. Remember, I've rigged it so that we're on the case and we're motivated all the time, right? And we measure our success by your answer to one question. I worked out a long time ago, what's the difference between a client who stays and a client who goes? And it's the answer to this question. And so every 14 days, campaign manager must ask every one of his clients this one question and get an affirmative or negative answer. The question is, are you making money with our program? If you're making money with the program, you're staying. If you're not, you're probably not, right? I have no illusions. This is business. It's got to work. I don't think you're going to stick around because you like me or think our logo is cool or something. We have been making you money. So that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's why we ask it incessantly, because we want to know the moment you think you're not, we want to check it out. We got to figure it out. Okay, we got to know. That's our job. That is our job. That's how we keep you happy. And then, of course, I've got a separate quality control division that keeps things on track. I don't know any other company that has we actually have dedicated staff. Their job is to look at campaigns that aren't performing as expected, to look at it, to say, oh, someone's not making money. Holy moly, what's going on? I bring in a senior person to look at that separate from the campaign manager. So we'll just sit there and grind. We get to the bottom. We found out which one of those 545 pages fell out. Good. Find it. It's on page 235. Good. Put it back in. Fix it. That campaign gets back to work again, right? So I have a quality control division that backs up my technical team completely and makes them better. That's part of our procedures that improve over time, by the way. All right. So our goal is to have your new patient problem solved. Marketing, and I actually wrote it out in our kind of company mission statement, I suppose, is to make marketing results so consistent and reliable that practice owners like you can stop worrying about new patients. They can get on with doing the more fun parts of their practice. I don't think anybody got into chiropractic school and said, hey, I can't wait to wrestle with new patient marketing every day. That sounds awesome. I really want to learn all about Facebook targeting. That sounds great. No, you got in the business to help people. I'm pretty much willing to guess. And that's what I want to let you do. You do that. I'll do my part. You do your part. And we'll both end up helping a lot of folks out. Okay. So I got some bonuses for the guys who are on the call today. Bonus one is a new patient reactivation campaign. This is where we reactivate all your past new patients. We reach out to your entire past new database and we get them back on the books. We reach out, of course, not everybody comes in, but we let them know things like if you've got new services and so forth, we throw a reactivation campaign in there. This is my ethical trick I use to keep clients around, because when we run a reactivation campaign, it almost always fills the books immediately and it makes for a happy client and gives us time to make sure the rest of the marketing is working well. So I get my clients profitable using this trick. So I am giving this to you as a bonus today for anybody who wants to move forward with us. It's usually $2,500. Like I say, it's free. It's going to get free. And, I'll be honest, I tend to get away a lot because I like my clients to win right away. Keeps me less nervous. But it does get better. I've got a second bonus for you, right? I'm going to give you my new patient scheduler course as well. Remember that big problem of getting people scheduled and signed up? Yeah, that's a huge problem, right? It takes more than just a slide or two to fix that. So here's the new patient scheduler course. It is a master class compiled directly from the top new patient schedulers in the country. I interviewed 2 or 3 of the top schedulers, guys who get 90, 95, 100% show up rates, right? And I asked them what they did. I didn't ask the doctor. I asked the person who was doing the scheduling. And I interviewed them, and we took those interviews and made them into a course, right? It turns your front desk into the Grant Cardone of scheduling. It's just bam, bam, bam. They do this, it works, right? They're not shysters. They're just using good communication and human nature to get people to show up. And then it comes in the form of a video training. I got lots of captions. Takes 2 or 3 hours to do. You just plop your scheduler down in front of this, have them watch it, get out there on the floor, and you'll see an amazing change in how they do as long as they apply the information there, right? And this is something, again, it's only available to our clients. You can't buy it somewhere else. You can't get it from anybody else. It's something we only give out to our clients because, quite frankly, it was self-defense. We want to make sure the clients win, right? If clients don't win, we get fired. So there you go. So the course covers things like ways, all those things like ways to get people on the phone. It covers those and the actual how you do that and a couple other aspects of those. It has some scripts in it and answers tough questions like how do you answer the question like, do you take my insurance? Well, it's in there. There's a way you actually properly end that. Even if you don't take insurance at all, there's a way to actually make that work for you, right? A way to build up the doctor's authority till your celebrity status. You want people coming in to go, oh my gosh, Dr. So-and-so, it's so great to meet you, right? And of course, to make appointments so sticky that they actually show up because there's some scarcity to the appointment, some urgency to keep it. Like they value this appointment. The scheduler course teaches the scheduler how to do that in that short conversation, okay? So the result of the course is that people arrive, they're eager, they're excited, and they're predisposed to accept care. So you got the right person in for your marketing, and now you've already started relationship off well. You can see arrival rates of 80% or greater. If they're below 80%, we usually have the scheduler retrained or figure out what's going on there. There's something wrong, right? And the normal cost is $2,500 per student, but it's free to anybody, to all your staff, right? We're giving away free to all your staff, right? So the overall program, we get you the consistent flow of qualified new patients for the cases you want. We give you the database reactivation service today, and we give you the new patient scheduler course today, right? And all that is if you qualify. This is the bad news. I have territory exclusivity. You can't be too close to an existing client. I can't serve 2 masters in the same area. So we just took an ethical stand and said we can't take 2 clients who are too close to each other. You have to have that adequate setup in your office, like I said, to handle those appointment inquiries. Like you've got to have that team in place that actually can handle this. I mean, you got to have someone to train as a new scheduler. If you don't have someone who's a scheduler, then there's no one to train, and that part's going to fall apart, and this thing is not worth doing. So don't do that. You must charge enough for your services. This is something I'm always getting on to chiros about. I've seen the same program sold for $500 and $5,000, right? It's amazing. You must be charging up for your services. Otherwise, there's simply not enough money to have those staff and to have the marketing and have all that running, right? So you must be charging enough. So if you're a really low price guy, this is not going to work for you. And of course, you must be willing to invest at least $3,000 a month towards building that $84,000 a month practice, right? It takes money to make money. Now, of course, this is an investment, so you should hold it. I expect you to hold us to, hey, I invested $3,000 with your firm, sir. Where's my return on investment? Good. That's why we asked that question. Are you making money in the program? Because I know you want to see numbers, because money talks and walks, right? So there you go. All right, so here's what we do next. Remember, I promised you those ads. If you want to get those ads, they're working now. Remember a PDF of those. Send me a text. That's my personal cell number right there. Send me a text number to that, that number, and I will send you back a link to where you can download those ads. If you are, in there, give me your name, email, and website address, right? Just so I know who I'm sending it to. And then if you're interested in the service, put the word service in there, and we'll follow up and do a 15-minute call, you and me, one of my guys, something like that, and see if it's a good fit, see if the qualifications are in, see if this will work for you. So that is pretty much what I have for you. Send me that text now before you forget, before I pull this off the screen, because I don't want anybody to miss out on the free ads. That's a good step up. Everybody should, no matter what, you're doing yourself or whatever, you definitely should use those, right? So I'll now open up to any questions. If anybody has any questions, I luckily, even with the errors and slowdowns, we hit the time. I promise to keep it under an hour. We hit that just barely. But if you have any questions, I don't see any in the chat. So that's okay. Let me see. Nope. All right. Well, in that case, it has been wonderful. I hope you have a good Friday. I hope you're successful helping a lot of people in the upcoming weeks and months. And if my company can help you out, well, we're standing here waiting to do our very, very best for you. All right. Thank you guys very much. I'll leave this up on the screen here for a few minutes while you get your text messages. And yeah, I see some text messages coming in here. Yeah. Making my own phone ring. There we go. Oh, thanks, Lorraine. I got yours. All right. Got another one there. Another one. Okay, good. How's that? I got yours. That includes, oh, yeah, Michael, that includes the ads in the first month. It could be 1,000 to 1,500. So you could say 3,500 depending on the ads in the area you're in. Yeah. Our monthly, hey, I'm not hiding our service fee. Our monthly service fee is $2,000. Then plus the ad spend on that comes with the, we'll give the database reactivation and the course, and it's month to month. All right, good. Well, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to leave this on the screen for a bit longer. Thank you guys for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate the time. Thanks.